have shepherded over have turned against me. They have broken the holy covenant between me and you. They have whored themselves with idols, whom they have crafted with thine own hand, and they have bowed themselves and worshipped these abominations. They have said, blessed be these idols, whom have led and provided for them 1,000 years. Since they have done this thing and taken my blessing and given it to the idols, my wrath is poured out upon the whole world. A decrepit sickness has been unleashed into the world. For all of their wickedness and worshiping death, they shall become decrepit things, spreading death. This is my judgment on all those who transgress my laws and who have defiled my covenant. Death. Death. But not for you and your brother. You shall stay here in my holy mountain as I test the entire world to see if they shall serve me or choose death. I have spoken, so shall it be.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Word of the Most High Yah. I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Lucifer the Lambew. Now, for many of you who may not know, as far as you recruits, I'm back. Back from what, you may ask. So let me go ahead and break it down for you. For those who don't watch End Times Current Events, or who haven't gone over to the different other series that we do. And also, please forgive me if I'm going a little slow, or if I'm jumping from things, or for whatever, because I'm recovering actually from a flu since getting back. So just to let you know. No, I haven't been replaced by a Nephilim clone or some crazy stuff like that. But nonetheless, though, recruit. Ever since you came and began to learn these preachings of the scriptures, and from the men of God, and just know that it's not from me as an individual, or from anybody as an individual, but that the real truth comes from the Most High to the men of God, and the men of God, speaks on and talks about that which the Most High has given him, intravenously fed to him, right? And I've said it once, and Most High puts in my spirit to say it again and again, and that is, time's always against us, even though, and for us, but against us too. And let me go ahead and explain that. We're coming up on the end of this 400-year curse, and that obviously is to the advantage of the slaves of this nation, of our people, who have returned back to the Most High in truth and sincerity, right? But it's also to the disadvantage of those who, the Most High is holding that crack open, holding that thing open, so that those who haven't sown can sow, and those who haven't matured can mature. But Most High ain't gonna be waiting forever, nor can you wait, as Most High has again imparted on me to tell you. We are in a war, recruits. As I've said from the very beginning, war is not coming. We are in war. Been in this war since we got off. Our ancestors got off those slave ships with shackles on our wrists and shackles on our ankles. And whether whether you are arrested and brought to jail or prison, just know this truth, that this whole country, this whole land that you see from the left to the right, to the north to the south of America is a prison for the so-called Negroes, the Jews of Scripture. It's a prison. It's been a prison. And in this battle, you don't have the luxury of blinding your eyes and walking around and thinking that you have all the time in the world to get your scriptures straight, to get your your work straight, because you don't. That's why the Most High instructed me to let you know, and to do my best to encourage you to go out to those street corners and engage the people and begin to sow those seeds that have the opportunity through the Spirit of the Most High to become more manifest and grow, to have the opportunity to be as such that could be harvested in the near future, so that when the Most High cometh, which He will come, at any time during this period between now and the end of the 400-year curse, that you would not be found empty-handed, that you would not be found with just that which you had in the very beginning, that which He gave you just by being an Israelite of Scripture, just by being born of the blood lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That you would have more than just the ability to say, hey, you know what, I'm of the blood lineage, but that you would actually have fruit, maturity, work, and a relationship with the Most High, and that you would have the following of His law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, that you would have so many other things than just coming in bare. But now, of course, if that's all you got in the end, then praise be the Most High, because we all do know too, in the Scriptures, as it is written, the God's righteousness and love is also expressed in those who have nothing to show. but of course a love for the Most High, and of course, you know, coming back to His law, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability. When I say nothing to show, I'm really referring to they may not have a big overflowing ministry. They may not have 200, 400 students. People who call them teacher, da da da. They may not have the look, the gloss, or they may not have the resume, but still in all, they have a love for the Most High and a return to His law, statutes, and commandments. And if that's all they got, pray be the Most High. Let His righteousness show and His love show in in saving some of them. I mean, that's what that 1/3 is all about.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't read. Let him go.
You should have killed me. You should have killed me, boy. Should have killed me. I'm gonna get you, and your little bitch of boy.
It's reality. You must focus. You must allow your weapon to become a part of you.
But anyway, though, to get back to the point, I'm not going to go too much over the exact specifics of the case, because the Spirit of the Most High doesn't give me the inclination to. But I will say that it's, of course, complete and utter bullshit. But again, it's not behooving of the men of God or of you recruits to, when faced with trial and tribulation, to default into a belief of innocence versus guilt. Okay, and what I mean by that is to say, don't put your faith in the fact that you're innocent. Well, because if you put your faith in just the fact that you're innocent, do you not know that the court systems and these jails and these prisons are filled with hundreds and thousands and maybe even millions of innocent so-called Negroes. They're filled with them. Innocent of the charges that they had on them. But they were railroaded through the coalition of the supposed state lawyer and prosecution. They were railroaded. They got worked over through being in concert, the two of them being in concert to just railroad the so-called Negro who don't see nothing going on, and basically make it look legit because they're working together. So if your lawyer ain't got no problem with it, then who's gonna say anything, right? And that's reality. Again, we're at war. And don't think to yourself, well, there's nothing in my life, or there's nothing going on that somebody would even think that that I'm doing something wrong. That's not true. I mean, just following the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, and is enough. If they even needed that, for them to want to try to bring you down. I mean, simply put, being God's chosen people and knowing that you're God's chosen people and coming back to Him in truth and sincerity is enough of a reason for this wicked, corrupt system to try to toss you in jail, to try to get you off these streets, to try to stop you from teaching and talking, more instructing and to the Spirit revealing the Most High's word. Because, recruits, this truth is toxic and it's contagious in the so-called Negro community, in the so-called Israelite community. It's contagious and it grows. The more people hear it, the more people get that choice and that opportunity to choose what they're going to do about the truth, how they're going to incorporate or understand, or whether they're going to accept or reject the truth. Now, it may not be turning the heads and the minds and the hearts of millions and millions of people, but that's not what's necessary. We don't need to turn the minds of hundreds of millions of people. The Most High says that, that He shows mercy to the thousands that left Him. Thousands. So it's a heck of a lot more smaller number of true worshipers that worship Him in truth and sincerity that He is looking for, that He's engaging, than anyone could ever know. And so this society, this wicked, corrupt society is scared. They're scared out of their mind. And they're going to do whatever they feel they can in order to stop this truth. But like we said before, not only just myself, but also Peace of Most High, Lambew. We're just men. If it wasn't me, it'd be Lambew saying it. If it wasn't him, if it wasn't me or him, you can get this truth from the camps that spring out all around this nation and all around this world. If you allow the Spirit of the Most High to guide you, if you study to show yourself approved, so nobody could steal your crown and steal your your love for the Most High and His word and His truth, because you're studying and you're proving all things, as the Scripture says, to the best of your ability, through the word, through your study. And if all of Israel, all the people of the Most High is lifting up in order to spread this truth, if all of them were to fail in that effort, the Most High could get donkeys to spread this truth, to make sure that everybody knew what was coming before it came down. So recruits, we're not, high-ranking officers in the Most High's army. We're not 4-star generals and captains and so forth in the Most High's army, we're grunts. We're foot soldiers. We're pawns in this, evil versus good, truth versus lies, spiritual and carnal. Chess game. But, praise be to Yah, here in the end of Esau's rule, nearing the end of our 400-year captivity, even a pawn can be advanced if it gets to the final row. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the advancements. We're waiting for the transfigurations to start to drop. Because the second the very first anointed comes on the scene, the battle is going to be won. Most High says the yoke of Esau will be broken by the power of the anointed. So that's what we're preparing for, to the best of our ability. But all these lessons that you have learned in terms of being real in both your private life and your outside ministry and your online ministry, to be who you say you are, to do what you say you do, is important. Not for these Gentiles, because they lie. They lie about everything, and they keep on lying. You can get arrested for spitting on the sidewalk, and after they're done with you, you look like the most worst person in the world. I mean, seriously. And that's not going to change, because their way is to lie. That is their way. That is who they are. As the scriptures say, they leave from out the womb, running around spreading lies. That's just their nature. So being who you say you are, to the best of your ability, being and doing this truth and sincerity with spirit and fire, isn't to prove something to them. It's for the Most High, because the Most High sees you in everything that you do. He sees you. And it's not Esau you got to worry about. These fake, fickle-ass courts. Fake courts that, ain't bringing in people for Pizzagate, ain't bringing in these elites that are actually doing stuff, ain't rolling up in these different politicians' houses that are responsible for all the atrocities that they've been doing day in and day out. That's actual provable. You see this stuff online all the time. They're not actually doing that stuff, because they got really no desire or love for law. You got to have righteousness in order to adequately do law and order. Law and order without justice and righteousness is worthless. It's ripe for wicked abuse, and that's exactly what's been going on. So you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for the Most High, because He watches us. And the last thing you want to do is to anger Him or to lose your covering because, of you being a hypocrite. And that hypocrisy is not judged in the courtroom of man. It's in the courtroom of the Most High God. And ultimately, unlike the courtroom of man, all offenders shall be prosecuted, and the innocent shall go free. Now, it's not to say that the Most High can't make the innocent go free in man's courtroom, because he can. Praise be Most High. I'm so thankful to the Most High that I'm able to be sitting right here talking with you, oh Israel. I mean, because they had me locked away, and even though my court thing is still ongoing right now, I had hundreds of thousands of dollars of bail or whatever that I couldn't pay. I'm just a poor Jew of Scripture, poor little Negro. Ain't got that kind of money, which is also a part of their plan to keep our people unjustifiably behind bars and to make it to where they can't bail out. So, they're pressed between a rock and a hard place. I mean, they're innocent, maybe, whatever the case may be, they're innocent. But yet, because of this bail and whatever or not, and because of a lengthy trial and waiting from period to period, maybe some jakes or whatever want to take their deal. Maybe some jakes or whatever want to start, shucking and jiving and trying to make change some truth into a lie, just to, hopefully get out of there. But of course, that doesn't really happen. I mean, once they start chucking and jiving, once they start changing things up, once they start believing the lies, now they're susceptible, and and they're getting given up. So it's not for this world. That's why Yeshua, the Most High Son, said, love not your wives, love not your children, love not your very lives. You can't love this life. You got to love the Most High. And if doing that which is of the Most High, you go down, then you go down. Doing that which is of the Most High. Following Him in truth and sincerity. And if He delivers you, praise be the Most High.
The age-old battle between the forces of light and the powers of darkness have come to a precipice of change. Sakuma has returned from the abyss and is the only being ever to have done so. With him lies the secret of the undead sickness. If only he can survive long enough to understand the full ramifications of his conversion. But a team has been assembled to kill him, and the full powers of the darkness are being levied against him. Beginning this fall, the portal to hell will be opened, and the demons shall be unleashed on the sheep of the Most High in the third installment of the Mirror Images series. Directed by Lucifer D. Lambew, written by Sakuma Z. Lambew, Mirror a Lambew Brothers film, Mirror Images, The Rise of CERN. Coming soon to the Lampshade Network on YouTube.com. He has the power to deliver. Again, I wouldn't be sitting right here if that wasn't the case.
because they didn't want to let me go. They wanted to keep me locked away in their Edomite fantasy bullshit, on the strength of their Edomite fantasy bullshit, you know, for a long extended time, to try to intimidate or bully, you know, the men of God into what? Some kind of position to where they're trying to make a shuck and jive, which is not the case. So yes, the Most High does have the power to deliver, and He does. But even if I wasn't to get out, Yah willing, I'd still be waiting on the Most High. You know, again, these jails are full with innocent so-called Negroes. It's not in innocence or guilt. It's in who the Most High has given up. You know, because it all pulls back to the relationship with Him. I would rather be a man of God in jail with the Most High than, you know, have to chuck and jive and lie and do all kinds of crazy stuff to be, you know, and be out walking around without the Most High. Because at the end of the day, it all defaults back to relationship with Him. And being with the Most High and putting Him first means not making considerations to, you know, what to do and what to say based on the needs of the moment, or based on what seems logical in the, you know, in the humanistical, earthly, carnal way. See, Yeshua said that they will bring you to the judges. And He meant it. I mean, look at Job. Was he not, did he not go through things? It fulfills prophecy. What the Most High is speaking of you, what the Most High is saying of you, what the Most High is wanting for you, what Yeshua has said wants. And that is the affliction. That's why they say rejoice when it comes to affliction, right? Because basically greater is your reward with the Most High. You know, when people lie on you, when people put false charges against you, no matter how small or monumentous the lie is, it's still a lie. But rejoice, because the Most High sees what's in secret. He knows what's really going on, and it adds. It is part of that. Is part of that seasoning, right? You know, people say they talk about the iron sharpens iron thing, which is true in terms of people in this truth, you know, working with each other to really get each other sharp, get the word in each other sharp, and so forth. When two or more are gathered in the Most High Son's name, He is truly in the midst, and there's a lot that supports that. But what it also means is spiritually, right? To whom much is given, much is required. Affliction, you know, sharpens the spirit of the men of God. And it's part of that whole iron sharpens iron. It's not just referring to the carnal aspect, which is two people, but also spiritual aspect, which is affliction, and how the Most High says that anyone who comes to Him, basically who has not been afflicted, is like a bastard, right? And He scourges whom He loves, chastises whom He loves, right? So expect it, look forward to it, and rejoice in it, regardless of the outcome humanistically, because time is running short. And for some of our people, maybe that may be all they got. Maybe they turn back to the Most High, but before they turn back to the Most High, or when they turn back to the Most High, or whatever, there may be some of our people who find the Most High rotting in jail. Praise be to Yah. When I went to the state jail, not state jail, I think county jail, or city jail, or whatever. When I went there, I just came back from there. There were people who just found out about this Israelite truth. The Most High had me speaking with in jail. Just found out, never heard nothing about it, never heard nothing about nothing. Sitting away, wasting away in the prison houses, as the scripture said they would be. And some chose to listen, some chose not to, but they were given the information. The seeds were sown, thrown. Whether they manifest or whether they whether it's weeds or gravel or gutter, or whether it's fertile ground, is up to the Most High. A couple of Jakes got an opportunity to know that they were the Israelites of Scripture, that they were the chosen children of the Most High, and that the time of their redemption was nigh. And that the 400-year curse was coming to an end, and that we were in the visitation of the Most High. If I went to county jail just for those few that got the opportunity to hear the truth, it was worth it. Because, as Priest Most High will say, and I'm sure many other men of God will say, this truth is that the Most High has given us, that we push on these street corners and in the back booth and in our homes and in our lives. It's 100% real and true. And it's what we do. Whether it be in jail or out. Because this whole country's a fucking prison. Where you want to teach at? And where you want to push this truth at? Who needs it the most? And who's to say that in the Most High, like he says, don't meditate on what you're gonna say. What you're gonna say will be given to you when it's time. So I'm not sitting here trying to think about all the ways in which I'm innocent. I already know that. I'm actually looking forward to when the Most High brings me before the judge. When the Most High bring me before, the court. Because I know the Most High got some good stuff for them. They're gonna learn more than they wanted to know. They're gonna know more than they wanted to know. Because that's how the Most High is. He has something cooking. I need not contemplate, meditate on what it is, but just in my experience with Him, it's always good. It's always edifying to the kingdom. It's always edifying to Israel. It's always edifying to him, his son, and their plans. And I'll probably keep this a little bit short. Again, it's my first video back, but I just wanted to connect with you, O Israel. I want to connect with you, recruits, and to let you know that we don't do this for the crowds. We don't do this for the people. We don't accept tithes and offerings. We don't monetize our videos. We don't have a 501c3. It's not for fame, fortune. We don't even do this for the admiration of the people. We do this for the Most High. Now, if He ain't happy, then it doesn't matter if you have all those things on the other scale. If it's a weights, all that stuff, if you had that, but He's not happy, it's worthless. It's worthless. It would be worthless. That's why He says, do not love the world, because anything in this life, anything in this world, man, that you love, that you're into, that you value more than Him, these devils are gonna try to fuck with it. They're gonna fucking try to try to ruin your good name. They'll try to with their lies. The strength of their lies and nothing more than the strength of lies. But they'll try to ruin your good name if you care about a good name and such and such. Which is, I do care about a good name, but not more than Most High. Right? The age-old battle between the forces of good.
One of us will die.
The powers of darkness have eclipsed, leaving the balance broken. The darkness has blocked the entrance to the holy mountain, severing man's access to the Most High. Lucifer has been reunited with Sakuma, and not a moment too soon. The darkness is now in control of Cern's portal, and with it, all the powers of hell are spilling forth into this world in an unstoppable tide of demons. At its disposal, no one or nothing will stand in the way of the Queen of the Damned. Beginning this summer, the lampshades are reunited in the never-ending battle against evil. In the fourth installment of the Mirror Images saga, directed by Sakuma Z. Lambew, written by Lucifer D. Lambew, and Lambew's Brothers film, Mirror Images 4, Queen of the Damned. Coming soon. The Lampshades Network on YouTube.com.
But they'll try to tear down your name with lies. They'll try to, they'll try to do whatever they possibly can that they think that will affect you. They'll take your children away. They'll try to convince your wife to leave you. Your kids to turn against you. Your friends, your neighbors, your audience. Whatever. Whatever in this world that you still have an issue with letting go. But this ain't checkers, bruh. Right? This ain't tic-tac-toe. This is a vast battlefront, multi-layered. You know, multiple theaters, hot zones, strategic areas of interest, high grounds, areas where we have vulnerabilities that we need to pay attention to. This is global. You know, multi-layered. Considerations being made on both the spiritual and the physical realm. It is not to be taken lightly, but also not to be feared. You know, the Most High has us exactly where He wants us, and He is well in control. The person sitting behind, you know, playing black on this multi-layered 3D, you know, 7D chessboard is the Most High. And He don't lose. And that's what matters. You know? That's what love is all about for the Most High. It's obedience. That's why Yeshua said, if you love me, follow my commandments. It's obedience. There's also sacrifice. That's why King David, when he was looking to sacrifice rams or lambs or whatever or not to the Most High, he came across a person who said, you know, you're the king. Go ahead and take it. And he looked down, and he was like, I won't take it. I mean, how much does it cost? God was like, no, you're the king. Go ahead and take it. And he was like, no, how much is it going to cost? The guy goes, look, man, you're the king. Go ahead and take it and sacrifice to your God. King David was like, no, I am not going to sacrifice to my God that which cost me nothing. So you can't show love to the Most High without a willingness to sacrifice. All those saying, oh, I love the Most High, but you haven't sacrificed shit. Every chance trouble came because of this truth, instead of facing it head on, you retreated. Or you buckled under the pressure. Or you totally avoided it. Not because the Most High told you to, not because the Most High instructed you in that way, but because you are a fucking coward. And if that means that, you know, some people don't like you because of these motherfucking demons' lies, then fuck them. If that means that, you know, you go to jail because of these demons' lies, then fuck it. You know, I was in jail, and I was talking to a young brother, and I told him, man, hey, man, and he didn't want to believe it. I was like, hey, man, Yeshua had a record, and he was innocent. Yeshua went to jail. That ain't shit. That didn't mean shit. He went to jail. Guy was like, what are you talking about? Not Yeshua, Christian guy. But yeah, when Yeshua was taken, and they were offering Barnabas or Yeshua, basically, which one was going to get out of jail. You can't offer somebody to get out of jail if they're not in jail. You can't offer them to get out of custody if they're not in custody. You can't offer them to get released if they're not being detained. And the courts was wicked back in those days, and it's wicked even to this day. Because they without righteousness and true justice, it's a hotbed for wickedness. And the Most High, again, flavors the salt or revitalizes. So, can I say, or shall I say? He does ask the question, how can salt, once it loses its saltiness, is it not good for nothing else but to be trampled on, underfoot, and thrown out? This is true. But with the seasoning of affliction, salt that hasn't necessarily lost its saltiness can be revitalized. And that's what affliction is. And that's what it does. Praise be to Yah. That's why it's required for the men of God. That's why we look forward to it. And you should look forward to it too. Because the Most High wins in the end. He always does. And nothing that he wants bound will be loosed. And nothing that he wants loosed will be bound. And we're just all following the Most High's script and doing what the Most High has us to do, and to play our parts in this battlefield. We're just men, recruit. You know, pushing this truth, the truth of sincerity. You know, won't stop you from catching a cold. You know, take it as affliction. If that occurs, won't stop you, or can't, or don't think that you're not going to get no kind of tribulation. That's not what this is all about. We've been in captivity for almost 400 years. This ain't the time to get soft. This ain't the, and this in the end of it. This ain't the time to run and hide, run for the hills. This ain't the time. To the end. Press on to the end. You know, whether I be here with you, pray be Yah willing, that would be the case, or whether I be behind bars pushing this truth to more Jakes of our nation who didn't have the privilege of knowing that they were the Israelites of Scripture. Press on. And get those seeds out and into the ground, that you may have something on the day of the Most High's arrival. Sorry, but as we say, man can't live by bread alone, but by the very word of the Most High. Thank you for watching The Word of the Most High Yah. I'm your host. Praise to the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew. And I will see you again next time. It's not destroyed, actually. What they were called is, they were whitewashed. Okay. During the Renaissance period of time, they basically took, the conquering nation basically took the image of Christ, which, you know, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, is a black man. And in Revelation they tell you what color he is, because it tells you that. And they made him look white, and they made the Bible look white. What color is that? Jews are an olive color. Do you know what the word Jew comes from? Yeah, what the word Jew comes from? What's the word Jew short for? But you know that they're olive color, but you don't know what the name of them comes from. I'll ask that question. The name of Jews comes from the house of Judah. And the house of Judah, incidentally, are the Negroes here in America. We are from the house of Judah as put forth in the truth. There's nothing scriptural that tells us that we're
it's okay that you don't agree with it, because truth is truth whether you want to accept it or not. If you don't believe,
I know that, that's why I'm listening. That's why I'm saying tolerating you.
you don't have to tolerate me because it's not my truth. It's the truth of the Bible, the very book that you say you represent. See, you can say to yourself, I don't believe this aspect, I don't believe that aspect, but you're not going against me, you're going against the very book that you say you're here to preach, teach, and show people. Because they told me, I didn't write that, I'm not the author of that.
I'm not one of your church.
The author of that. I'm not a church.
Yeah, I'm not one of your stewards. I'm a teacher. So, you know, I don't need you to try to take it.
Okay.
You understand that?
Okay.
Don't try to
You say that you're a teacher.
I
Fine.
don't want you to try to
I
teach.
said, when you say you're a teacher,
Yes, sir.
the question is this. Okay.
In your mind.
As a teacher,
this is the question in your
sure,
mind.
but if you're a teacher, then you're
This
here to
is the question in your
teach.
mind.
So how can you teach if you can't answer questions which potential students may ask you? You're a teacher, so could you teach the $1 million question that's on the hearts and minds of the Negroes in this country, which is where they come from? It's in your book.